Hey folks, welcome back to Deer Corner. Good morning. Still raining out there. It's been raining for a couple days now. But we did get one food plot done, reseeded, fertilized, getting ready for spring. But for some of you deer hunters that understand, right now for your herd and your deer habitat is critical. This is a critical time of year. Critical time of year for your does, your fawns, your soon-to-be fawns. They're going to be dropping here shortly. And to give nutrition to them, give nutrition to the does for their growth and development, this is very critical for your herd, your deer herd. And for some of you trophy hunters, this is also a critical time of year for your antler growth. And overall, it's a critical time for the health of your deer herd. And I'm sitting here going through some emails and watching some YouTubes and coming in here to 2023 to improve your deer season. It starts now. And one thing is your food plots. Now I'm getting away from annual. I'm going perennial now. The main reason is due to the price of seed. And throughout the years I found out that my alfalfa and clover patches are getting heavier grazed than my annual patches. So in that note, we're changing over to a perennial, such as clover and alfalfa. And that is something that we have come up. We got one food plot that we're not going to be putting back in. A matter of fact, I'm going to be planting it in blackberries. And one of the reasons being is, yes, the food plot did bring in deer. But what was going on was the deer were coming from the neighbors into that food plot and then back to the neighbors. And that brings me to another little topic, is your food plots. And my experience with food plots is I want to centralize my food plots in my property. I want the deer to be safe coming into my property to the food plots that I'm centraling inside my property and getting away from the outside of my property to where my neighbor's deer are coming to it and then going back. I want to draw them into my property. And in order to do that, I got to have cover, I got to have water, and then I got to have something for them to feed on. For some of you hunters, new hunters that get new property and starting to develop a herd and a habitat, it's easier to keep a younger deer in your area than an older deer. An older deer is used to its ways. It's going to take time. It's going to take time to get that old mature buck to start staying in that area. But once they feel safe, they got food and they got cover, they'll start staying more and more in your area. And that goes along with food plots, and why I'm pulling all my food plots off the edges and putting them more central in my property. I'm wanting them older deer to come through my property more and finding bedding areas and finding water and finding food. And I'm trying to train the deer to do that. And your previous herd that come through, it's going to take a little time to get them used to the area or the habitat you're building. but they will find it and they will notice it and start using it. And you'll start noticing that they're leaving your area less and less and less. But in that note, you're going to find out that you're going to have to supply more and more and more. The more deer you get, the more grazing you get, the more you're going to have to supply. So you're only going to be able to supply so much. So this time of year for your does and your fawns is critical in your area. You want to keep them in your area coming back. Without the does, you're not going to have bucks come hunting season. So if you can curve it a little off your neighbors and keep the does over on you during the springtime and midsummer, the does are going to keep coming back during hunting season, coming through, looking for something to eat, some shelter, some water, and then the bucks come with them. So it's been raining. I'm cleaning up, getting ready to head down off the mountain. Going to head home, got some things to do, but I'll be back up here in the next few days. And like I always say, if you're in the woods, be safe. You'd rather be safe than sorry. And if you're in the woods just walking or hiking, please take your young'un along. Take your child along with you. Get them out of the house. And I hope to see you again.